Hello, my friends. I'm going to use the leftover paints from the swipe I did yesterday to turn this, what was supposed to be a flower field landscape, into an ocean scene. I just don't care for the bottom part there. It's okay. I don't love it though, I'm not committed to it, so I'm going to change it up. First, I'd like to show you yesterday's swipe. It's not dry, of course, but it's getting there. But I do want to show you how nicely it's drying and coming along. And I did want to point out that using this recipe with the ready mix paints and the recipe I use, the glue and Floetrol mix, once you swipe it and tilt and however you leave it, that's how it's going to stay. It hasn't changed at all, and I'm really happy with that. I like the predictability of it. So there it is. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it up above, but I'm very pleased with that. Set that aside. And bring this one. So obviously this is the orientation, but I'm going to turn it around while I work on it. And I'm going to leave the sky alone. I rather like the sky. Well, let me turn it back to you. And this section was actually part of the sky, but it looks to me kind of like distant, could be islands or something. I live in an area where we have a series of channel islands, and they're far away, kind of undefined, and that's what I'm going to tell myself that is. And so I'm only going to be working from this point down. Let's see what I can get. Now, I'm not going to swipe down like this because it would look like a waterfall. I'm going to be swiping sideways. And I may use a little palette knife on it after I've swiped. I don't know. We'll see. So I've got all these paints left over, and I'm going to just apply them in kind of in a random order, pretty much the same way I poured out that one, except I'm not using any of the sand color on this, just water. Got to cover up that green, that dark green. I'm going from light to dark. Quite a bit of paint left. If I might be able to do a second one. I'll find some old pour and try that out. And yeah, if this doesn't work out, I can quickly take it outside and hose it off. So really, it's not a problem if it doesn't work. Okay, already the balance of color, just it looks better to me. Okay. Tilt it around a little bit to get coverage and movement. Wow, maybe I don't even need to swipe it. But I'm going to. I want to get coverage on the sides. I love that part. I had the sky worked out, but the bottom never really got covered. I can fill in small gaps by brush painting, but it's nice to get most of it covered with the colors. Okay. Now, the white. I don't want a lot of white. The white is going to sell up, and I'm just going to have that pretty much in the lower portion, which will look closer to me. That's the idea. I don't want a lot of it back there. I don't want just one. I'm not going to put a white strip here and swipe the whole thing. In other words, I'm just going to limit the swiping of the white to this area right around here. Maybe I'll even do this. And that's pretty. Not very exciting there. Okay. I've got plenty left over. And here we go. I'm going to use my same swiping thing. It's a page divider, plastic page divider, but this time I'm going to swipe this away. So I do want to straighten out my horizon line there. So here we go. You can see that I've made contact all the way across. I'm shaking, so I don't have a straight horizon line. Okay. What do I think of that? It's okay. I don't know. It's kind of pretty. I don't know. I don't know that I like it. What should I do? What should I do? Maybe I could add a sailboat or something when it's dry, and then, because it's just too blah right now. Let me turn around towards you. What do you think? Did I improve it or make it worse? I'm undecided. Now this looks so blah. Of course, it's not varnished, and it's pretty flat right now. When it's varnished, it'll look better. It's pretty much what I had in mind. I just don't know that I like this either. So let's bring you in. And you tell me, what do you think? Not sure. I have mixed feelings about it. I'll let it dry, and maybe I'll add something to it and like it more. For now, this is it, my friends. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. decided to tack on the quick embellishment I did on this little painting. So the first thing I did was straighten up the horizon line. I took a clear ruler, mixed up some paint similar to that color, and ran it along with a paintbrush to straighten it up. It had been a little low in the center. I let that dry before I began what you're about to see. So the first thing I want to do is add kind of an indication of some wispy clouds in the sky. I've loaded up the side of the palette knife in white with a hint of blue, and I'm just barely touching the surface with the palette knife. It's going to be very abstract looking. It's not, I mean, the whole thing is abstract in color and shapes, so I didn't want realistic looking fluffy clouds or anything, and I didn't get them. But I also added some white to the water, kind of white caps there, and then I felt it helped tie the top and the bottom together. You don't need to be good with the palette knife, I'm not, to do this effect, and I think it's very effective with the water, particularly down below. The cells that I had there look kind of like the foamy waves, and I think it worked. So that's that. Then I decided I want to add a little sailboat to be a bit of a focal point for the painting. So I'm mixing with my brush, flat brush, a gray, kind of a light gray. And that's going to be, what do you call it, the hull of the boat? I don't know. I'm not a sailor. Although we have a sailboat in our driveway that my husband had to have, and he has never taken it out in the water. He was a long time sailor, but now he's more interested in golf, so we just look at it. Anyway, that's another story. So now I'm adding the sails, the flat brush. It's going to take about 4 coats because, of course, I want the sails to be opaque. I think I had the idea to try the palette knife for the sail. It didn't really work well, but it did give me a nice straight line for the mast. So I went back to the brush. And then I thought to give a little more depth to it, a little more perspective, I would add a tiny little boat in the very background. So using the liner brush, I mixed a little light gray and just a couple of dabs for the indicate a sail there. That's all I did for that one. And then what am I doing now? Oh, I decided to add a little bit of white water around the sailboat, the closer sailboat as well, to indicate some movement in the water. I'm drying it with a hairdryer because if I keep applying wet paint on wet paint, I'm going to dig a hole, and that's really hard to correct. So I dried it with a hairdryer before I put on one final coat. And then I decided, because that boat is close enough to the viewer that you'd be able to see someone in it, I just mixed up a little blue-black to create a tiny little figure in the boat. Pretty much just a dot for the head and a line for the shoulders, the torso, and that was it. there you have it, and I'm finally done with this little painting. It sure went through a metamorphosis. So thank you for watching, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this, and I shall see you next time.